Hello, viewers. Today is July 11th, 2024. I'm here to share my thoughts about the US presidential election between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. This race was categorized as too close by pretty much every pundit in town and with a slight edge to Donald Trump. All this was before the debate that happened a couple of weeks ago. After the debate, most of the people thought that this race will shift dramatically towards Donald Trump. The reason for that is before the debate, the battleground states were kind of more or less tied between President Biden and Donald Trump. And the key was the three states, meaning Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And Biden needed to win the three out of the three to have any chance of winning the presidency, whereas Donald Trump could have just won two or one out of the three and still had a path to win the presidency. That was all before the debate. And then what happened? We had a debate a couple of weeks ago where we all saw that President Biden was not able to answer questions coherently and was not able to actually go against Trump one-on-one in terms of facts, figures, and it was a disastrous performance by President Joe Biden. And after that, we saw some of the polls from the battleground states where the former President Trump is actually slightly ahead in Pennsylvania and in Wisconsin, as well as in Michigan. And also, it looks like he has opened up a small lead in a state like Maine, New Hampshire, and in Nevada. So that is one of the reasons why Democrats are not very happy at the current state of affairs in terms of this race. And that's why they would like President Biden to actually withdraw so that they can have a new nominee. So pretty much that's where we are at this point of time. From my personal viewpoint, I don't think that there is any way that President Biden can salvage his campaign at this point and be able to turn this around and win the election. So what I would suggest or what I feel is that President Biden has a couple of options in front of him. He can withdraw and ask his delegates to support Vice President Kamala Harris. In that way, he will be able to transfer all his campaign war chest to the Harris for President campaign without affecting any of those campaign finance laws and regulations. That is option number one that he has. He can have another option, which is to basically say that he would like to withdraw, but you can just say that I wouldn't want to choose a successor, and it is up to the Democratic National Committee to have some form of process to choose a successor. This way, the process would look more democratic, and some of the other contenders who would like to weigh in or try to become a nominee will have a chance to compete. In that case, the way that you can do this primary, from my perspective, is to what I call something called a debate primary. By debate primary, what I mean is like you can have 4 or 5 debates among prospective candidates for presidency. And these prospective candidates can be chosen by the party elders. By party elders, what I mean is you can have former presidential nominee Al Gore, former presidential nominee John Kerry, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and former Housekeeper Nancy Pelosi. You can have that team choose from a list of viable candidates who are interested to compete to get the nomination. And I would prefer that they keep the number between 4 and 6 so that they don't have too many people on the debate stage. And once they identify these 4 to 6 candidates, they can then have a debate on a national media. Most of the cable channels will be more than happy to provide them the space and the slots for them to have this debate. And they can have a debate every day or every alternate day they can have actually 4 or 5 debates. And after those debates, the Democratic National Committee can just ask all the existing pledged delegates for Joe Biden to go and vote for the nominee that they like. And that way they can choose the nominee before the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. So the reason why I'm saying that they should choose this nominee before the convention is to make sure that whoever is selected as the nominee has enough time to prepare for the convention, as well as to basically go out and reach out to the donors and start getting the campaign finance that they need to run the campaign throughout the country. So this way, the Democratic National Convention will have a very revitalized and re-energized Democratic Party base, and they will also have the advantage of having their convention showcased on a national audience, and the new nominee can explain their vision for the country, as well as how they are going to address the kind of anti-democratic things that might happen under the second presidential term of former President Trump. So these are the two options that President Biden has. From my perspective, I don't know whether he will do or whether he'll choose any of these two options or whether he'll even withdraw. That's a big question. But I do feel like at this juncture, President Biden, if he continues his campaign, there is no way that you can win the election in November 2024. And that is one of the major concerns that all the Democratic Party members do have. Some of them are expressing this in private. Some of them have come out openly now. As a matter of fact, Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, came out yesterday and she did not completely endorse President Biden's candidacy. In fact, she said that it is up to President Biden to say whether he is going to run or not, and that is not a ringing endorsement from my side, from my perspective. So I think a lot of these party people are slowly getting to the point where they are trying to nudge President Biden to choose the right thing and withdraw. If he decides to withdraw under any one of those scenarios where he just basically gives the pledged delegates to Kamala Harris, or he stays non-committal, in either one of these options, he has to actually call for a big campaign rally, from my perspective, in a big city like Philadelphia on a Friday afternoon, where he can bring in all the party heavyweights like former President Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, and then the current senators from Pennsylvania, the former governor of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell, and the current congressional leadership, where he can just present what he has done, the list of achievements that he has in the last 3.5 years. And he can say that I have come during a hard time. I ran because I wanted to beat Trump. I succeeded in that. And then I was successful in getting the country to a point where we have a good economy, even though inflation is slightly on the higher side, but the economy is very strong, the job growth is very strong, and he can also talk about the initiatives that he has done for the green energy and whatnot. And then finally, he can say that the time has come for me to basically pass the baton to the younger Democratic leadership. That way, he will look like a statesman, and he will also be seen as somebody who is willing to take the tough call at the right time for the party, for the country, and for his own legacy. If he does that, then in that rally, the Democratic base will get energized because of that rally, and also the party will get re-energized and revitalized. I do not know whether he will do all of these, but short of doing any of these things, and if he continues to run this campaign, I don't see any path for him to win the presidency. In fact, I think he might lose Pennsylvania big time. He might lose Wisconsin and Michigan as well. And there is no path for him to win the presidency this way. So I hope that he will take the right call. It looks like he's going to have a press conference later on today. But from my perspective, no amount of press conference is going to change the people's perception of him. They all think that he's old, and they all think that he is not in a position to do his job for the next 4 years. So that is the reality. and I hope he sees the reality. From my perspective, it is not the question of if, it's only the question of when. So you guys please stay tuned, and I will come back with more updates as things progress at this end. Thank you very much.